Hello and welcome everybody. It's Nancy Ray. It's been a hot minute since I've jumped on here to do a live quick training, and I'm super excited to jump on today and share some thoughts with y'all. So you guys have heard me and seen me talk about this probably to the point of exhaustion, but there truly is no one size fits all. There is not. And anybody who will tell you that is selling you something. The more that I study, the more that I learn, the more that I interact with different beings on the planet, the more that it is so obviously clear to me that we are uniquely designed, each and every one of us. And I'm going to share with you guys some really funny examples in just a second. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Jennifer. Welcome. I'm like breathing hard because I'm so excited to talk about the fact that I'm a mouth breather and why this is actually really good. So most of my life, and from my earliest memories being like 5 or 6 years old, I was a mouth breather, and my mom would make comments about it. And I thought like, oh, that's wrong or bad. Originally we thought it was because like the way that my nasal passages are designed. And so I had my tonsils removed. Oh man, I did a lot of special effort things to try to teach myself and train myself to breathe through my nose. Welcome everybody jumping on here. Hi Riley, hi Jamie. So I would do these exercises and I would breathe through my nose, and anytime you do yoga or meditation, they're like, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Well, mouth breathers breathe in through our mouth. And I thought this was something that was so wrong. So go ahead and give me a 1 in the comments if you guys have ever heard anything like this, right? That like breathing through your mouth is wrong, or it's not the healthiest way. Another example would be eating, right? Like in the world of spirituality, it's like if you're gonna eat and be super present with your food, it needs to be quiet. It needs to be calm. And you need to not be standing up. You don't eat while you're driving. Don't eat while you're moving around. Give me a 1 if you guys have ever heard these things. And these are these statements that are just made, and everyone starts abiding by them, and we don't even recognize where they came from or why we're doing it. But Ben, Crystal, yes, there's these weird freaking rules, and we're doing them. I would love for you to think of some right now in your life. And the truth is, you're probably not even seeing them as rules because you're just believing them. They're not even opinion now. They've become fact. Like it's a fact that you should breathe through your nose. Look at all the scientific data that backs it up, right? And it's a fact that you should have a calm nervous system when you're eating. And there's just all this data to back it up. So we take these things, we make them fact, and then what we do is we work really hard on trying to make ourselves fit them. Do you know how hard it is for a mouth breather to be a not mouth breather? It's really hard. You feel like you're passing out almost all the time. And I didn't realize like me breathing deep is massively limited when I'm trying to breathe through my nose, because my nose, like look at how smushy it is. It's literally not physically, biologically designed to be this way. But more importantly, something that I just learned yesterday, spiritually, energetically, based on my human design, which human design is amazing. It's something that I've added to my coaching to support it to whole nother levels. I am actually designed to take in the world through my mouth. That sounds creepy, but it's one of my highest senses. So I actually receive data by breathing through my mouth about people, about if a food's a fit for me. Something that's a really good thing for me to do when I'm looking at a menu is to breathe through my mouth. And when I read a description about a food item, to like breathe in, because this is part of my spiritual gift. This is the way it shows up for me, and it's unique for each person. I breathe in and I actually take in data and information, energetic spiritual information about if that thing is a fit for me. I breathe it in. So this is why I'm designed to be a mouth breather. And all y'all, listen, I have been trying to force myself, and this is just a metaphor for what we do on a way bigger scale with our entire life. I've been trying to force myself to be something I'm not. And as I've been studying and researching this energetic thing of being a mouth breather, this one guy was like, if it wasn't so non-PC to say, I would tell all mouth breathers to be smokers. And again, obviously smoking, nicotine, not good for us. But he was saying it half-heartedly, like jokingly, saying, look, you're designed to breathe and to inhale through your mouth and to take in the world through your mouth. Do you guys see how liberating this piece of information is, this permission is? It's huge. It's everything. I knew that deviated septum. Thank you, Mary Ellen. So the next thing is, let's talk about that rule of that rule about, eating with it being calm or being quiet or not while you're moving around. Well, actually, the way I digest best is when I'm having some sort of auditory stimulus that I like. So music, great conversation, watching TV while I eat. How many people are like, don't watch TV while you eat, don't while you eat? Actually, the way my energy best assimilates information and food is through having auditory stimulus, music, energy, that I love and that I like. So the truth is, so much of the way that you're living right now is based on conditioning. You've been doing things that you feel like you have to do, trying to force yourself to do it in someone else's way. The most successful people on this planet blaze their own motherfucking trail. They just do. They don't work when people say you should work. Oh, you need to get up at 4 a.m. and work in the morning. Maybe they're not morning people. They're pulling night shifts. They're working, on their business from 6 to 10 p.m. till midnight. Who knows? They do it their way. And they honor their intuition, their unique intuition. Everybody's intuition speaks to them differently, all y'all. So if you're listening or reading like personal development books that are like, ooh, this is how you tap into your intuition, it's not probably, unless you're lucky enough to have picked a book that's actually matching your intuition type, it's probably not going to really help you that much. What it's actually going to do is make you feel like you suck at intuition. You're not intuitive. You have no gifts, spiritual gifts. I can't even count how many people are like, oh, you're so psychic. You're so empathic. You're so intuitive. How are you this way? And I wish I was that way. And I'm like, what the fuck? You are that way. It's just different for you. The way it shows up is different for you. And because you keep trying to receive your inspiration and your answers the same way I do, it's fucking you up. Oh, y'all, I want you to give yourselves permission to do you. Your passions, the things that bring you pleasure, the things you desire and you want in your life are clues. They're clues to your most aligned life. But so many of us spend all day running around trying to be something we're not, trying to white knuckle our life and withhold from ourselves the fact that there are certain types, energy types, that need naps. More sleeps. There are certain energy types like Tony Robbins that can go on 4 to 6 hours of sleep just fine. But where we get messed up is when we see them being successful and they're so shiny and so awesome. We're like, oh, that's what I need to do. I need to be like Tony Robbins. I need to not sleep. Guess what? I've tried that. It does not work for me. If I try to be Tony Robbins, I'm not being Nancy Ray. And Nancy Ray is a badass in her own right, doing it her own way. Right? It's no different than some people do really expert level when they're public speaking or doing videos like this, having a little mini script with some little things written down, to guide them. That's not the way I do it. If I do that, I'm in my mind and I'm actually blocking flow and blocking intuition. Lindsay Christine says, sometimes I feel like I am the happiest when I'm all alone, off on a hike or something by myself. I even feel like I live by myself well. But society says you should have relationships and friends and all this, but I feel like my batteries charge best when I can find time by myself. That's absolutely true. So you just get to honor that. Some people get recharged being around people. Some people get recharged being alone. Some people get recharged with a combination. So there's no right or wrong. Let's talk about meditation, all right? As a mouth breather, someone who digests through auditory, would it be good for me to go on a silent retreat? Hell no. I mean, I might learn some things, but truly, my best meditation is when I am doing tonal meditation, where I'm making sounds with my mouth, where I'm being guided. And yeah, I can guide myself. I know how to do the breathing and count, but I do best when I'm having something auditory or something coming out of my mouth or into my mouth, breathing through my mouth. So this is the thing. What I want you to hear is people are selling this one size fits all. Meditate this way. Market this way. Do this system. Sleep this way. Don't sleep that way. Even eating. Eat these foods. That's all. It's all bullshit. They're selling you something and you're buying it. And you're not just buying it with your money. You're buying it with your life force energy. You are giving your truth, your power, your gifts, your purpose to the bullshit story of somebody else. They found their path. That's great. What can you take from their path? What lights you up about their path? What about what they're saying was meant for you? Excellent. Take it, write it down, assimilate it. Fantastic. But if you are trying to be a duplicate or a copycat of any of them other bitches, You're fucking up your life and your flow. You're not in alignment with abundance. You're trying to be something that you're not. I want you to stop, cease and desist that behavior immediately. Stop it. Enough. Done. Figure out your intuition type. Get in tune with it. Figure out your energy type. Honor that shit. And then anything and everything else that doesn't honor it and isn't aligned with it, we begin to place boundaries. We begin to shift and transform and bring those things so they can this thing be in alignment with me? If it can, this is what I do when I read something. Can this concept, this tool be in alignment with me? It can? Okay, cool. What do I get to do to align with it? And what does it get to do to align more with me? Right? Let's bring it, using that Venn diagram thing, let's find that middle correlating piece. Bring it home to me. And if it doesn't, bye. No, gone. All y'all get to get way better about this. Like, really knowing yourself, knowing what you want, knowing who you are, and then if it's not in integrity with that, it does not get to be a part of your experience. That boundary, that line, that standard is where the magic is. That's how you honor who you are. And the quickest way to create the most epic life for you and to be the most aligned is to differentiate yourself. What that means is live into your uniqueness, your way of talking, your way of doing things, your sense of humor, the foods you like, the foods you enjoy, the way you like to enjoy your food. Bringing more yumminess and pleasure into your life. The truth is, chasing money and chasing purpose never bring you happiness. Guess what does? Chasing your pleasure. And I know your little mind, the little brain up here is like freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, if I chase my pleasure, then I'm just going to be this gluttonous freak and all I'm going to do is sit around all day and eat bonbons. Oh my God. I've never even had a bonbon. I don't know what they are. It's just a phrase people say. That's what your mind is saying right now. It's like, oh my God, I can't do that. The truth is, the reason that you don't give yourself permission to follow your pleasure is you don't trust it. You think inherently you're evil or stupid or unwise. But the truth is, the more I give myself full permission to do whatever I want, the more I line up and do really epic, productive, value-giving things. But it's coming from an internally inspired, motivated place versus this is externally like I should or I have to do these things. If you truly, addiction comes from lack mentality. When you're in lack mentality, you get addicted to something. You don't feel like you're getting enough, you can't have what you want, something's not working out, blah, 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 blah. So you seek this thing to meet that need. Well, the minute you go meet that need by giving it what it wants, like maybe it really just wants recognition, maybe it really just wants love, maybe it really just wants freedom, maybe it really just wants to quit that fucking job and do something else. The minute you give it that, you no longer want the addictive thing. The minute you're giving yourself the love, and obviously I know there's a lot more that goes into it, there's chemical things and all of that that happens as well. But what I'm wanting you to hear in this is that when you're fully living in abundance, fully trusting yourself, fully aligned to truth, you no longer need any of that stuff. And if you give yourself a break, I promise it won't be forever. Humans love to grow and expand, and sometimes we expand by laying on the couch, sometimes we expand by napping, sometimes we expand by running 10 miles. But the truth is, you'll never find that as long as you are listening to everyone else and not yourself. It's time. One other thing I wanted to mention. So, this is almost 20 years ago now. When I was in grade school, I had very sensitive lips. I was using all these like crazy like lip smackers and like glasses and sparkle glasses and stuff, and my lips had a reaction and they would like peel all the time. And the only thing I could find that would work, and I just found this intuitively because we just had this big old tub of Vaseline in our like hall closet. Found this big old tub of Vaseline and I put it on my lips, and my lips loved it, and it was like neutral enough, basically petroleum jelly, you know what I'm talking about. And it was neutral enough that my lips loved it, and it was awesome, and my lips healed and they always looked so luscious and like moisturized and stuff. Anyways, and I remember getting smacked down, emotionally abused by them bitches in the locker room, all through middle school, high school, college, playing college basketball, because I would carry a big old thing of Vaseline, not a massive one, but like they're like this size, in my purse. And people were like, why do you have Vaseline in your purse? Why do you lube it up there? And I would just put it on my lips, and people were like, you're so weird. Guess what? Today, I went to the store. Guess what they now sell in tiny, cute little tubby tubs, like really small. You see how small it is? Let me see it in my hand. For your lips. It says on here, lip therapy. Bitches. What I want you to take away from this is there's going to be things that you're doing that make no sense to anybody else, but they are on the leading edge of consciousness. My Vaseline usage on my lips was on the leading edge. Now they even make them in like pinky things and smelly flavors, and it's Vaseline. Huh. Boom. So I know the things I say seem radical. I know when I say stop making cold calls because it's sucking the life soul out of you. You don't have to do it that way to make money. When I say quit chasing money and purpose and instead chase your bliss, that shit's radical in the personal development world. Why? Because most people don't trust people. They don't even trust themselves. So this is what's hilarious to me. People are like, I don't want to be some cog in somebody's will. I don't want to be a robot. I want to be an entrepreneur. So then they go buy somebody's system that tells them literally exactly what to do. And what they do is they actually buy themselves a job. They spend 5, 10 grand, buy a system, buy a job, or join an MLM, and their upline gives them the system, and then basically they're an employee that has no benefits, no guaranteed pay, and that is emotionally beating themselves up all the time because they're not able to meet the standard. You guys, what we're doing is we're just treating one brainwashed way of thinking, which is just like this robotic, do it this way, conditioned collective bullshit, for another one. It's just wrapped in a prettier package. It doesn't matter. It's still shit. I don't care if you put frosting on it. It is. What it's time to teach people, and the revolution that I'm leading, is that it is spirit-led, individual by individual, and every single one is differentiated. And yeah, once they do that, they can join an MLM and kick all the ass in the world. The leaders that are kicking ass in MLM, do you know how they did it? They followed their own path. And if they didn't, the perfect system they were handed by their upline, for some weird, crazy reason, actually matched their blueprint perfectly, which can happen. So what I want you all to hear is that every single person has value to add. All of those systems are great. They teach great tools. Manage your time. Do this. Blah, blah. Awesome. And if it's not aligned with your design, your bliss, and your real reason for being on this planet, it's never gonna work for you long term, and it's not gonna be sustainable. You're gonna be bitter. You're gonna be angry. You're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna be bored. It's not gonna be lighting you up or really expanding you. Personal development's great, but so much of personal development is helping you brainwash yourself into doing things you don't wanna do. Get up, play music, do affirmations so you can go to the gym at 4 a.m. Did you know that people who actually really want and get lit up by going to the gym at 4 a.m. do not have to do that shit? Yeah, once in a while they do, but when they really want it, it's like 8 out of 10 days they're lit up, and only 2 days out of the whole 10, they actually have to use those pump-up techniques. They didn't tell you that, did they? No, they didn't. And when they say, yeah, it's gonna be hard and you gotta push through, they're talking about those 2 days out of 10. If you're 10 for 10 with hating something and it's shitty, that's a sign. That's a sign. Trust that about yourself. But what happens is we're so programmed and conditioned to think that we're wrong and that we're broken and that we need to be different than that we are, that we buy the bullshit. And guys, I want you to hear, it's not just with money. It's with our literal life force energy. We are giving it away to people. And years of our lives are wrapped up in these stories. It's disgusting. And it's okay. It's perfect. Like, we chose into it. It's happening for a reason. And it's time to be done with that shit. Right now. New permission. Here's your permission slip from Nancy Ray. Do what lights your soul on fire. Because when you do that, you don't need an alarm clock. You don't need pump-up music unless it's like really fun. I love pump-up music because I'm auditory, right? You don't need any of that stuff. You don't need affirmations written everywhere. You don't need alarm clocks reminding you to think positively about yourself, because you're lit the fuck up, because you're tuned in. When you're tuned in and it's your inspiration talking to you all day, guess what? Your inspiration never says, you suck. You should quit. You should not do this. You're terrible. It never says that. Ever. The only time you're having those thoughts is when you're tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to fear-based, lack-based, collective, brainwashed bullshit. That's the only time. So what if we spent more of our time tuning in to what we want to be receiving, which is love, light, epicness, expansion. Like, you're literally capable of doing anything. You're eternal being. I want to say limitless, but limitless has like all these weird attachments now because of, the person that lives in Utah that uses the word limitless, and some people like him and some people don't. But basically you are limitless. It's so badass. So what if we spend our time tuning into that and our energy tuning into that rather than covering this cow pie with frosting. Ah! It's a game changer, and it's so much fun. Your life can be magical. I know it's cliche and it's annoying, especially if you've heard people pitch that and they're selling you their system and then you do their system and it's not magical. You're like, dude, you freaking lied. You're a con artist. I hate this shit. Guess what? They're not lying. That system is what works for them, and it works for people with similar design to them. Similar, but not identical, because no one is identical. I promise you, you're so uniquely designed. I have not found a single person that's the same. Not a single one. And the nuance is what makes you different is what makes you beautiful. It's so cheesy, that song. What makes you different makes you beautiful. What's there inside you shining through to me? I don't know the words. But I'm being serious, you guys. What is different about you? The fact that I am a mouth breather makes me beautiful. It also sometimes makes me sound like that. But it is my gift. And when I can love that and honor that, you guys, I can do anything. Give yourself permission to use Vaseline, even when people think you're stupid. Give yourself permission to breathe through your mouth, even though everyone is saying you need to breathe through your nose and it needs to look a certain way. Give yourself permission to meditate by walking, or meditate by listening to music, or meditate by doing something guided. Just because people say it has to be silent doesn't mean it does. Give yourself permission to be on the leading edge of consciousness, because we are bringing in a new paradigm right now. And I am calling all of the people who are ready to step out of the collective brainwashed one-track mindset bullshit to step up, to stand up, and to be committed to fully living their raw, unfiltered truth. I love you guys. Be sure to share this out. Talk to you again soon.